Hello there, I'm Claire, you're watching Stitch Sew. Thank you so much for joining me today for another video. Now today's video is a Friday Sews video, so I'm here to talk to you all about what I've been up to in the world of sewing. So I hope you guys are really well. I hope you've managed to fit in some sewing. I myself haven't done huge amounts of sewing because it's the Easter holidays and my kids are off. I sometimes find that during the holidays I manage to get loads done, other times not so much, and this is one of those sort of not so much times. But I have got some sewing to show you and some sort of other bits and pieces that I've been working on as well. So I will talk about those in a minute. But let's first of all talk about the item of clothing that I have completed this week. So last week I talked to you about the fact that I was doing my Sew Frugal 24 make, and I was working on the Peppermint Magazine wide leg trousers. Now I told you I'd started and I'd already made a mistake in the fact that I'd put one of the pockets linings, pocket bag like lining, on the wrong way. So the bit that should be kind of end up by the fly was down here and vice versa. Now I realised after speaking to you guys last week that I'd only done that on one pocket, but I still decided to take the approach of, rather than unpicking, I just trimmed it off. And what I've then done is obviously put it on the right way, and then I just used a 5 centimetre seam allowance. So that has meant that one of the pockets is has a very slightly bigger opening by about 5 did I say centimetres before? I meant millimetres, so half a centimetre. So they're just very slightly different sizes. Now these are a black trousers or black trouser, so really difficult to see that sort of difference. Anyway, these are a wearable toile, so I wasn't particularly that worried. And in actual fact, being able to feel both openings, I actually prefer the one that's got the larger opening, just very slightly larger. And so if I was to make this pattern again, I would make that change. So I will be making that on my pattern piece. Now, as I say, I have made these out of a black fabric, and obviously this Instagram challenge has now gone. The reveal date was the 31st of March, and Sew Frugal was run by the lovely Sam from Frugalissima and Ruan, the Yorkshire Sew Girl. They've done a brilliant job, and at the point of recording, we don't know who's won any prizes or anything, so massive good luck to you all that entered. I hope you all win a lovely prize. So as you can see, I have finished my trousers. Now you may not be able to see actually because it's a black fabric and it's so hard to photograph and film black things. I found I don't often sew with black, and so I haven't really thought about that problem very much. Now I found this pattern really good. This is the first time I have made a fitted pair of trousers. Now when I say fitted, obviously they're a wide leg trouser, so the bottom bit isn't fitted at all, but the top part is. The waist, the hips, the bum area is all a sort of a fitted design, and it's the first time I've put a fly zip in as well. Now all in all, I found the pattern instructions pretty good. There was a couple of moments where I was a little bit head scratchy, but nothing that really kind of kept me from making them, and nor did I need to kind of refer to any sew alongs, and I'm sure there must be some sew alongs on YouTube for this pattern because loads of people have made it. If you go onto the hashtag, there's so many people have made this. This is definitely kind of a fan favourite, if you like. So I have decided, because I didn't want to kind of ruin the line, I've done my button so that it goes onto the inside. I'm yet to work out whether that's going to be a problem to me, whether it's going to annoy me or rub or just be an irritant. I didn't have any of those kind of hook and bar things that you can use, so I didn't want to have to buy any. I was trying to be, you know, totally frugal and not spend any money on this make, so I decided to put the button on the inside. So I'll let you know as time goes on whether that's an issue or not. And the other thing that I've used is an invisible zip. I didn't have any regular zips in my stash, and so I only had an invisible zip, and so I've just used that like a regular zip, but it is technically an invisible zip. I don't think that's really an issue. I think I made the pattern size. Sorry, I've got a bit of hair that's going into my eye and it's really bugging me. I have got a no, sorry, what I'm trying to say is I think I made the second to largest size, and I found that overall that was a pretty good fit for me, other than the fact that I needed to slim down this side bit a little bit. So from kind of halfway down the pocket, I just slimmed that down a little bit, graduating down, and then I continued to take that graduating line right down to the bottom, just kind of bringing it in a little bit more as I went down, just to kind of take some of the width out of these trousers. Now, I'm not totally comfortable in these trousers as yet. I'm going to caveat with an as yet, because a couple of people have said to me that the first time that they made wide leg trousers and wore them, they were a little bit I'm not really sure, but it's one of those silhouettes that has grown on them, so I'm definitely willing to give it a chance. Now, the other adjustment that I made is to the back seam allowance here. I found that I just had a little bit of gape just before I put this the waistband on. I tried it on and I just thought there's just a little bit gapey there. So what I've done is I just took almost like a triangle. So I've added from the top, I must have added another centimetre either side seam allowance, and then I just tapered it down almost like in a little triangle, if you like, just to bring that in. And I found that actually that worked quite well, and it probably wasn't even as much as a centimetre either side, between a half a centimetre and a centimetre, I guess. And I've actually found that I didn't really have to fiddle around with the waistband too much. I think I took a tiny smidge off that waistband, so that's all worked out pretty well too. So I know this is really hard to tell. I will pop some pictures in, and I took a little bit of video as well of it. I'm really, on the whole, I'm really happy with the fit. I'm yet to wear these on a day-to-day basis, so I don't know whether I'll find that I need to do any further adjustments should I make them again. I'm not ruling out making them again, but I want to wear them for a while to decide A, whether I need to make any adjustments, and B, whether that wide leg design is for me. I showed them to my husband and he was a bit like, whoa, they're wide. The other thing that I think I've done wrong is this fly zip has ended up, this sort of placket at the front, it's ended up feeling a bit chunky. So I think I must have needed to sort of grade the seams a bit more than I've done, or maybe I didn't grade them at all. I'm not really sure now. I don't know whether it was a step in the instructions that I missed or whether it didn't refer to that. I'm not quite sure, but I definitely, yeah, that just felt a little bit on the chunky side. But all in all, for my first sort of pair of more sort of tailored trousers, I'm actually really happy with them. Obviously they've got the dart on the back to give you some shaping, and yeah, we'll see how we go from there. They are fairly high-waisted, but not high-waisted on me. They're certainly not like they're certainly not like low slung or anything. I would say they're kind of between a mid and a high on me. So it's possible in the future that I would potentially add a little bit of height to that crotch depth just so that they come up higher on my waist, but we'll see. As I say, I need to wear these and see how I get on. Now they're definitely, because of the fabric that I've used, it's your kind of classic, almost like a school trouser type fabric. Very kind of school trousers, I feel, school trousers from the 90s. That sort of feel of fabric. It's not my favourite fabric in the world. So it's definitely something that I would only wear to work, I think. I don't think it's something that I'd wear out and about. But you never know. If I've styled it right, maybe they'd look okay. But anyway, that's my kind of main make since I last spoke to you guys. I have been doing a few other sort of sewy, crafty type bits as well. I like lots of crafty type hobbies. On more recent times I've been much more focused on sewing, but a few other crafty hobbies are sort of sneaking back in because I'm really finding it really useful in the evenings if I don't want to sew but I still want to do something, or if my kids are playing during the day at a weekend or whatever, and they want me to be in the lounge but they don't necessarily need me, I can do some sewing or some knitting or whatever. So I've been working on some cross stitch. Now I tend to just do very little cross stitches, like little I tend to focus mainly on little Christmas ones because then I can pop them in Christmas cards. And the one that I'm working on at the moment is this one here. You can just see my needle minder there. That's one of the, what company is that? Ethel and Joan. Little needle minder there, which are great. And this is a little snowman design. I don't know whether you can make that out there. And I think, yeah, this is just a little Hobbycraft kit, and then that's just a little cross stitch there. So nothing major, but would look really nice as a little card or something come Christmas. So yeah, I just work on those sort of throughout the year. I don't think I sent any last year or gave any out last year, but yeah, something that I worked on. Oh, and this this little pouch. You know how much I love a pouch. This pouch I must have made. This must have been one of the first things I think I made when I kind of came back to sewing, and I bought this bit of fabric that's kind of sewing related. It was like a swatch fabric, and it came as almost like an A4 sheet, and I just managed to kind of squeeze out this pouch. So yeah, right from the beginning that's what I wanted to make. And the other thing I've been working on, excuse me while I reach down, is my my knitting. Now, I haven't got particularly far with my knitting. I am making this jumper here, scrunched up pattern. It's the Hayfield 10036. It's a really very simple jumper, just a stocking stitch. So knit one row, purl one row type scenario. Jumper. I'm not making it in this colourway, although I do quite like it. But it's going to be really kind of, it's a really simple make. It's one that I don't really have to think about, and yeah, very basic. I'm thinking that I'm probably going to add a few more extra rows in the bodice before any kind of shaping comes in, because I just think that it might come up a bit short. And I'm not sure about the arms. These arms already look like super duper long, so we'll just have to see when it comes to the time and see how I get on. Now, I've only been working on the back so far, and I only ever do kind of a couple of rows at a time. So it's there's a chunk of it of the back yet, but we've still got a good way to go. But yeah, just in this sort of tealy brace petrol coloured yarn. And yeah, that's coming along nicely. As I say, I only ever do kind of 2 to 4 rows at a time, so it's going to be a long project. Probably fair to say it's probably going to take me a year, but yeah, we'll see how we get on. And I generally find that in the summer months I don't really do knitting because it just feels a bit too hot for knitting, but we'll see how we get on. So those are the sort of things that I've been working on. The lovely Adam from Adam Sews came to visit yesterday and did my hair, so thank you to Adam. It was looking even more amazing when he styled it yesterday, but unfortunately I wasn't able to fit in any filming yesterday, so this is sort of my not so great version of it. Actually, I've been out in the wind and everything since I styled it earlier on, so it's a bit all over the place. But yeah, I've had a cut and a colour, and that was just, it was lovely to see Adam, catch up with him for a few hours. And he got to meet my family, which he hadn't done before. And then this morning I put Adam's Friday Sews video on the telly. Now, I often tend to watch people's sort of YouTube videos on my phone because I'm often doing other things at the same time, like in the kitchen, or I'm maybe sewing, or whatever the scenario may be. But I was in the lounge this morning, and I was having a cup of tea, and I decided that I'd put, neither of them for once was watching the television, and I decided that I'd put his YouTube channel on and his latest Friday Sews. And it was so funny because the boys were like, "Oh, we've met him, he was at our house yesterday." And then my youngest, who's only 5, he was like, "Yeah, but mummy, how did you make him be in the television?" He was really confused. I was like, "He's got a YouTube channel too." "Yes, but how did you get him to And I was like, he recorded it at his house. So yeah, it was very sweet. So yeah, they loved it, Adam. They thought they were seeing like a celebrity. So that was lovely. And, you know, we had a good old chin wag, caught up because we hadn't seen each other for a couple of months, I guess. So yeah, that was really lovely to see Adam. And he has also brought out a video, I think it was yesterday it came out, a video in relation to English paper piecing. And his video was kind of the difference between gluing your hexies and sewing them in relation to when you're just making the hexie up before you actually sew them together. And I have been thinking about doing some English paper piecing for a while, and I have to admit, watching that video really kind of got my it really inspired me, if you like. So I've ordered myself some of the hexagon things that you put in the, and I just thought I'd have a go at making some and see where it takes me. I've got no real idea about what I'm going to make with them or how well it's going to go, but I've got loads of scraps. You know, I've got lots of teal fabric so you know, lots of scrap fabrics that I thought I would just make some hexies and sew them together and see what I got from them. I don't really have any plans for anything. I guess I could make something small like a pouch with it, or a cushion, or I could really go to town and make a quilt or something. I don't really know. Or maybe like a quilted garment. Oh, now I'm getting excited. But no, one step at a time, Claire. Just, yeah, I'll just get them and make a start, and then we'll decide where we're going from there. So yeah, that's another kind of idea that I've got for the next while. I'm sure that's going to take me forever. It's definitely not a short project, is it? It's not going to happen by next week, but yeah, something that I can kind of work on additionally, sort of in front of the TV, that's not knitting. So that's another plan. Whilst I'm talking about things that I can make, I bought this. Now this was from Lidl in the UK, and it's just a little embroidery kit with a monstera leaf, is that how you say it? And it's got everything you need in it. So it's got the printed design on some Ada canvas, I'm not quite sure what you would call it. You've got all the embroidery floss, the hoop, and the needle and everything. And yeah, I just thought that might be quite nice. Don't know what I'm going to do with it afterwards, of course, no idea, but I just thought it would be a good idea, and I think it was only like £2.99, so I thought that was an absolute bargain. So yeah, that's something else that I can do. I also bought some fabrics from a D-stash. Now I think her name is Crafty Mum or Crafty Mama or Mummy or something like that, and it was her D-stash page. Now I bought two fabrics. I'm going to show you the other fabric in another video because I've got another plan for that. But I also bought this lovely French terry fabric, obviously Christmas related, with all these Rudolphs all over. But I just thought it was a really reasonable price, so thank you. And I just thought that would be perfect to make my boys a couple of Christmas jumpers as we get closer to that time of year. Obviously I'm a bit early in April, thinking about Christmas already, but you know, when these sorts of fabrics can be quite pricey when you're right on top of Christmas. So yeah, I always try and get them throughout the year. And I think probably what I'll do is pick out the red for the cuffs, the neckband and the bottom band. So I'll buy, at some point I'll buy some red cuffing or ribbing fabric, and I think that will work really nicely. So yeah, I think that's really lovely. So that's the other thing that I've bought. And as I say, there is one more thing, but I'll share that with you in another video. Now, I'm after some advice, please. I've got this little iron, and I've managed to get stuff on it when I've used interfacing of some sort. Or now, can you give me some advice on the best way to remove it? Because it not only does it look unsightly, but I don't want it to come off on anything else. So yeah, if you could give me your hints and tips for the best way to remove it in quite an easy, not going to burn myself type of way, that would be really good. I know that you can do a thing where you get some, I think it's like a paracetamol tablet, and you have the iron on, but I'm too clumsy for that sort of thing. I need something where you kind of, I don't know, like a spray or something. Anyway, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. That would be perfect. Thank you. What else have I got to tell you? Adam came. Sewing. My plans. So, I don't know is the upshot of it. So I've got Sewimng blouse coming up, which I need to decide what I'm going to do for that. And other than that, garment wise, I'm not overly sure. So I'm going to let the month kind of pan out and see how I feel, really. I don't know. I don't feel like I've lost my sojo as such, but I definitely, I don't know, it's not flowing in quite the same way, which is why I think I'm turning to some other crafty things as well. But one thing I think I'd like to make, probably not this week because I don't think I've got the right interfacing or like foam stuff to go in it, is like a bed caddy for my younger son. Now my sons have got bunk beds. Actually, I'll probably end up making two because that would be really unfair, wouldn't it? I'll probably make two, but it would work better for my younger son who's in the bottom bunk. For him to be able to kind of put like a book, maybe his drink, that sort of thing in. And I'm going to pop a picture in of one of the ones that I've seen. Now, I'm not married to the idea of this particular version, so if any of you know of a good pattern for this, I'd appreciate your guidance on it, because I think it'd be really useful. I don't want it, it needs to have some level of substance to it. I've seen a few different designs of them, and some are very, just look like they're quite flimsy, and I think that would just be really irritating to be able to put stuff in. I think the ones that have got some sort of fusible foam in, or at least some sort of fusible fleece, so there's some structure to those pockets, would be easier for them to get stuff in and out of. But yeah, let me know if any of you have kind of made anything like that before and have got any kind of hints and tips or patterns or suggestions, etc. for me. That would be brilliant. So, one more thing that I should share as well. I was very, very lucky to win a prize from Sew Yellow for Endo, and I was very lucky to win a year's subscription to Stash Hub Plus. Now, I've had Stash Hub, the part that you don't pay for, where you can put sort of 20 entries in for some time, fairly kind of near to the beginning of when they launched it. And I've always thought it was really brilliant, but I just hadn't got my act together in actually using it properly. Now, about a week or so before I won this prize, I was speaking to my husband about it, and I said, next time they do like a little offer, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do it, because I really want to get to the point where I've got everything on Stash Hub so that I know what I've got. I don't have masses of fabrics, but I do have quite a large amount of PDF patterns. Now, I store all my PDF patterns on Google Drive. They're all in sort of Pattern Design House, and then folders with each type of pattern, each pattern in. And so they're all kind of secure, and I know where to find them if I want to download a new one. But I haven't got the ability to be able to say search for all the blouses I've got, or the trousers I've got, or the dresses I've got, and which that Stash Hub Plus gives you that level of flexibility and that level of search engine, if you like. So yeah, I was talking that I thought that I really needed to do it, and that I would be looking at doing it in the next sort of few weeks, hopefully. And then it was like, I don't know, things aligned and I was very, very lucky to win it. So I'm absolutely delighted. So a massive thanks to Jess from So What If I Sew for running such an amazing challenge. Sew Yellow for Endo is amazing. Jess absolutely smashed it this year with the donations. I think it was well over £2,000 this year, so just amazing, and hopefully has really raised endometriosis into more of a focus, at least in the sewing community and hopefully beyond, and people talking about sort of menstrual health and stuff. So big shout out to Jess, and obviously to the lovely Yvette and Doug from Stash Hub, because that's just a brilliant prize, and I'm so looking forward to actually getting everything uploaded. So as I say, I'm going to get my fabric and my patterns on there, and then I'm going to start on my notions. I don't feel like I've got lots and lots of notions, although, you know, like when you like buy buttons and then you forget like what you've got, and that's definitely like button zips. Yeah, it's so easy to just like, oh, I just pick that up, and then you put it up, you know, you put it away and you don't really remember what you've got. So yeah, I think that would be really, really useful. So totally delighted with that. So thank you to Yvette and Doug. What a brilliant prize. So I think in the future, I think I will, I've been banging on for some time now, probably about a year, that I should do like a little tour of my sewing space. So I think once I've got my everything organised and everything on Stash Hub and I know what I've got, I can kind of do a bit of a combo of showing you my Stash Hub stuff and also a little, I say room tour because it's not a sewing room tour at all, because I don't have a sole sewing room, but I do have a space within my my bedroom. So yeah, let me know if that's something that interests you. So I think I will round it up today. I hope you've had a brilliant week since last week. I hope you've managed to fit in some sewing and then you're really, really well. And I will catch up with you in the next one. Please do give this video a like if you haven't already done so, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. But until next time, take care, happy sewing, bye bye.